has got the double flash and defuse. We have double flash and smoke for Fallen, smoke molly for Taco. So MIBR setting themselves up to what seems to be initially a B-site execute. Although Pop Dog is available, they can rotate back to Outer.
This is so aggressive out from Ivy on that CT side, so they're going to get information straight away. They're going to start to backstab. MIBR need to get a bit of a move on into this B presence because there's going to be some big backstabs coming through.
Connector smoke goes down, 2 players set to the defensive here of the HELLRAISERS side. We've got Kalinka making his way outside the wide position. Dually set in from Problem, dealt with by KNG immediately. Fur comes up with a kill. Kalinka still held back to the corner, finds one. Fur just barely gets caught off guard, but does not go down for it. Taco instead gets Kalinka to a 4-on-2 situation. Bomb plant will be received. JR and Flowich creeping in. Backline coming up from JR in particular, dealt with by the IGL, and Flowich is last man standing.
Oh, great pistol round coming out from MIBR. The timing on that was just fantastic, being able to isolate a lot of the defensive or the offensive kills on the site of the anchors. And Flowich just trying to see if he can pull this off, but it's now going to be a 1-on-3, not really possible. And MIBR look like they're going to be able to get away with their first round on the board. Flowich is trying to see if he can do a little bit more damage. Not going to be able to make the jump on top of the bomb train, but the player out towards oil of Taco is going to be able to swing. So first round on the board for MIBR. Timed really well on that B-side execution.
Yeah, nicely done there for the T-side line. I mean, they could have gotten caught off guard to the back corner. That could have been a very different sort of story, I think, for the CT defensive. But as it stands, a couple of missed shots and inaccuracies plaguing the HELLRAISERS camp, and how MIBR were able to adjust against that. There you go. Pistol going in their favor. Rifles coming out. AKs, Galils in. Mat 10 for Fallen. 2 scouts in for HELLRAISERS, so a very heavy force play back. CT set to the A site initially. The Deagle pushing forward in particular for Lion out towards Sandwich, ready to receive the T side, but going no further to arrest towards T-Con.
Pretty passive to come out for the MIBR side, just starting to slow it down on the second round default. Not really too much aggression to come out for the CTs, nothing out from T-Con, nothing close towards the brown halls. And Fur opens up the round. And the HELLRAISERS trying to look for some sort of response, but still very deep into the sights on the CTs.
First contact, first kill established. From here, MIBR start creeping around the brown halls. Problem, shoulder baiting for information. Will see KNG smoke down to try and keep him away from the site here. Keep him away from ramp for the moment, and we'll stall for time at least, but they're taking a lot of damage here, and of course the firepower advantage well and truly is favouring MIBR at this moment. 40 seconds to the hit going through Pop. They have cleared out the A site. They forced the rotation over towards B passive.
It looks like they're trying to fake Pop Dog, that they're maybe faking an outer split, but they're going to go back into the B bomb site, and HELLRAISERS haven't moved an inch. Getting closer to like 25 seconds on the clock, Jay. There's now 4 CTs at B. This is a complete gamble stack.
And are they going to commit to this? It looks like they might do. They're putting all sorts of utility back here. The bomb's yet to go out, and yeah, they are going to rotate through Pop Dog in the end. Mat 10 here, Fallen just to sell the fake, keeping them held here to the B site play. One player wrapping also towards the connector area. Fur's going to be able to find a big old flank against the scout players. Kalinka will find that 1 kill. And Fur just held back behind the smoke. The bomb plant will be secured. And MIBR playing that one to perfection. Again, a lot of utility to fake out the B site, but as they pushed in towards A, with all the rotations drawn so early on as well.
I don't entirely think that that was their plan, but what happens as soon as they use that util, the CTs re-smoke off upper, and they go, hang on a minute, if they've re-smoked upper, then maybe there's a bit of a stack going on at this B bomb side. I realize the fact, okay, let's just try and go into A. They go down Pop Dog, and the A bomb side completely clears. So a really good call coming out from Fallen, a good gut feeling from MIBR not running into that B bomb side, because that could have got really awkward, especially with how low the timer was.
Yeah, you know, it could have gone very differently, I think, but in the end, HELLRAISERS kind of playing a bit unconfidently in this one at the moment. It's very early doors, so it could very well change up if they can adjust against the MIBR camp. But right now, I definitely feel the you know, the lack of confidence coming in from the CT camp. You know, it feels like they've realised that they're on the back foot. They realised they're up against, you know, a number 18 squad in the world. Stacking from the CT camp goes up and out to the Ivy presence. 4 players set in case they want to make their way towards Ivy, but they've already made their way out of T-Con, so they can just secure the bomb on Taco. Might get caught off guard, and indeed he does. That's a rifle to be gained here. Just grab that AK and save for the CTs, I'd say. No sense in trying to, you know, look for any more, although the AK has been dropped in towards T-side territory, so Fur TRK, Fallen, KNG, mopping up the frags. Last player left towards CT spawn. This will be a clean 3-0 start for MIBR. Hellraisers up for a rifle buy.
A little bit unfortunate there that they just could not extend far enough to be able to get that rifle. It sort of went backwards even further of where Taco went down. The Hellraisers going straight on to the AWP for JR going into the first gun round. And so far for MIBR, it's looked pretty simple. They haven't been able to face too much of a defensive hold just yet from the Hellraisers side, but this is going to be the big test for the Brazilians, whether they're able to come out on top against the first gun round. M4s across the board, the AWP obviously up for JR. No kits on that CT side, so something to kind of keep into your mind as we go into the round. This time, a little bit quicker from MIBR, at least in terms of the utility to the outer bomb site.
A Molotov will stop them from committing out of the T-con area. Fur, AK set and ready. Re-smokes do come down. I think a bit too deep there for the CT camp. And now Fur will be exited out into the site. Flashbang to support him. A smoke towards E-box clear. Sees one on the site. Flourish takes that fight and Fur wins it out in hole. Good kill to find on the AK. Checking that connector as well. AWP have fallen hell to the back line. 2 players in old hell. Good spray from Kalinka comes up with 1 trade, but it's quickly responded to. Line peeking in. Spotted out by TRK for the second. So 4-on-2 post-plant positions for MIBR. Well and truly favored to the T side.
See, plays like that, Jay, they may work against tier 2 teams, but they're not going to work against MIBR. 2 players in that hell position. First one swings out, and you think, right, if we go second time, they're probably not going to expect it at all. TRK is still holding that angle around the back Ivy smoke. Very strong round from MIBR, and for Hellraisers, it just seemed they just got picked apart there. MIBR just ran a simple default or simple execution into that outer bomb side, and from there we saw really nice swings. We saw Fallen, rather than over-aggressing with that AW playing a little bit more passive, trying to see if he can catch off any of the CTs getting aggressive. Oh, JL's going to make this round a little bit expensive, Jay. And 2 players stay alive, so it's going to allow another rebuy to come out for Hellraisers.
And 4's in. SMG left for Liam, so it's not ideal here for the CT cam. The AWP is there for JR though. An orb to respond to Fur at this stage. Incendiary is up. Flourish will take the pop dog presence. Nades here from Problem. We'll see 1 player coming out. We'll try and keep them suppressed. The smoke's also up, but backed up as well to the bomb site directive. MIBR playing in towards the Brown Hall's default.
Hellraisers still haven't really gone for too much aggression on the city side, which I'm a little bit surprised about because normally that's their style of play on the city side of train. So I'm wondering, Jay, whether it's because they've got a lot of pressure of playing a team like MIBR that they're changing up their defaults on the city side just a little bit and bringing that AWP over to the heaven position. Flourish, I believe that is, that's on the other corner. No, sorry, that's Problem. He's going to start to aggress.
Burst in, Problem takes out TRK. Passiveness from JR is going to leave him pretty much unsupported towards his upper position, and Taco can take the easy frag for it. KNG aggresses further forward of the connector area. No trade potential. The AWP way too far back for it. Might catch him off guard if KNG extends all the way back to stop her, and the AWP does see him but misses his shot. Turns on to Kalinka, gets that headshot pretty easy in for the MIBR camp. The 3-on-3 situation, Hellraisers have kept this at evens for the retake.
Yeah, they've got a kit, Jay, but they need to get a bit of a move on here because really they haven't been able to get into the site itself for the retake. A player out towards ramp, and Flourish has been heard towards the back of red.
Fur killing off Liam next. The SMG in the back line, down and out. And JR and Flourish quick to fall all the same. 5-0 for the MIBR side. And this T side is going swimmingly for the Brazilians. Hellraisers. Not a very encouraging sign as well, considering this is their CT side. A tactical pause is going to have to come through, because if they can't get themselves together right now, then this could be a much more one-sided match than we expect.
It certainly could be, yeah. They need to get a little bit more involved. It's looking very simple for MIBR. It certainly isn't as simple as it looks. You know, sometimes teams make it look like they're just running out of bomb sites and executing and just finding kills really easily. But it comes down to the intricacies, you know, the fact of the timings, the utility, the aggression. And what we're seeing from MIBR, especially on a lot of their executions, Jay, they are not playing passive in the post plant, or at least before that bomb's getting planted. They're trying to take the aggression to the CT side. They're trying to force Hellraisers as deep into those rotating, retaking positions as possible, which is just buying more time for MIBR once that bomb gets planted. 5-0 A half-buy attempt to come out for HELLRAISERS going into round 6. So not a massive amount to work with, Jay. A couple of SMGs, some deagles, some pistols. A little bit of upgrades. Oh, this is aggressive.
Molotov and flash in from KNG. Backed up with the AKC and the SMG coming out, getting resolved. A nice 3K lineup. Easy as that for the half-buy. Dealt with efficiently by the MIBR rifle. And Flaric and Kalinka is the lone to left on the CT camp. Both players held out towards the A bomb site, either on the site itself or passive towards A2. Meanwhile, B's been stormed. Bomb Park could come through. And again, you weren't expecting much from HELLRAISERS here with a half-buy round. Max loss bonus is going the way of the CT side, though, so we should be seeing rifles get rebought down. And potentially, HELLRAISERS could be in a decent round this time. I mean, the main issue obviously is the fact that MIBR are just overwhelming them with sheer force, because they can basically do that at this stage.
Yeah, look, you've got to think, especially with Kalinka around 3,300, that he's going to invest into a secondary AWP as well as JR. For the most part, the rest of the players, so Flaric, Lime, and Problem, invested quite heavily into that round, so obviously they're not going to be able to get the AWP, so it makes the most amount of sense that HELLRAISERS is going to go for a dual AWP setup. MIBR are going to keep the streak alive. 6-0 on the T side. And I suppose one of the scariest factors for MIBR too is that if they're doing this much on the T side, what are we going to see from them going into their CT side?
Well, for now, let's just go get past this stage, and we'll come to that bridge when we cross it. HELLRAISERS trying to find some sort of response here against the MIBR camp. But double AWP setup will come through now. JR and Kalinka. Defuse kits on 3 players. M4s are standards to back it all up. Max loss bonus equates to a good buy. Nades in, Molotovs down. Going to force them away from the T-con area. Flash around team, the CT's blind here as MIBR just set themselves up towards other sides of the map, in particular towards the Ivy presence where there's 2 players against the AWP.
A lot more aggressive this time around from HELLRAISERS, taking that early T-con control, now starting to fall back. They've still got to play very aggressive of Lime around T-con. But it's the Ivy presence that is now being left alone from the CT side. So they'll have to try and reposition to deal with this angle, whether the AWP is going to go to E-box and start holding that line where Kalinka is at the moment. MIBR really starting to slow it down, and for HELLRAISER's sake, there has hardly been any contact made. Look how much utility they've used, though, on this CT side.
So much of it being baited in by MIBR as well. They put a couple of flashes out, forced even more incendiaries and smokes to come through. There's Flaric and Problem with 2 flashes and an incendiary between those 2 individuals. Put the early Molotov down towards the ramp position as MIBR again try and bait in the utility, and they're successful in doing so against the HELLRAISERS side. Now Taco leading the rotation to Pop Dog. Kalinka gets KNG. Taco drops in immediately, gets Flaric down, but Kalinka doubles up with the AWP. Bomb still back towards A2. They haven't accounted for this position. 20 seconds, and Fur is all alone though, so the main defensive does get cleaned up. And it looks like a first will finally go on the board of the CT side. Fur will try fight his way out of the corner, but he won't get far with it. MIBR losing all 5 individuals, but they do have a buyback with the just sheer number of savings they have off the back of 6 rounds in a row.
Yeah, huge round coming out from Kalinka. And one thing that they did a really good job of was obviously baiting that utility out on that CT side. And a good job from HELLRAISERS, giving you guys a couple of codes to use at home, MultiV and MultiV15, to get a little bit of cash on your account, and 15% refill bonus. Open up some sick cases and get some sick skins, only at hellcase.com. And you've just got to think, finally, you know, HELLRAISERS have been able to find a response, and it's with that secondary AWP. Again, this early utility from MIBR, it allows the CTs to just pummel so much of that in towards that T-con and Pop Dog position. This is hyper aggressive, though, coming out from HELLRAISERS.
AK spray, Problem dealt with, and JR will trade back on TRK next. So a 4-on-4 situation. Good trade to the AWP, but he's only alone. Only player defending the B site. Will smoke down the Molotov coming forward. Flicks back towards KNG and drops that bomb. Now with Flaric finally swinging in from Connector, he's got an AWP to deal with, though. Fallen is ready for the rotations of the CT cap. Players will come in from CT spawn instead. Flaric has no utility to try and bait in this AWPer, and with a bit of patience, Fallen will get his kill. But JR still here towards upper. First made his way in towards the A site, but the bomb plant is coming through. Taco does get the upper player eventually. He had to secure the plant. He's got plenty of time for it. The backstep and Fur will continue. Kalinka has no idea this is coming in. He does enough for it, though. 2-on-2 now, and HELLRAISERS are moving in close and quick.
Fallen needs to try and back up his teammate of Taco, stuck on towards his default position. That's a huge frag coming out from Kalinka, but he's now down into the 1-on-2, turns it into a 1-on-1, and he can try and play the time, Jay, because that bomb's dropped in the open.
3K for Kalinka if he can win out this round. 25 seconds, you know, the time is for him. Leaning up towards upper. Fallen's not checking the back line. The flank comes through slowly but surely, but perfectly for the triple kill. 2 rounds on the board for HELLRAISERS. And finally, the response is looking good here from the CT side.
I tell you what, if you're Fur, you're absolutely kicking yourself. I don't know how Kalinka just even expected a backstab play. Whether it was just the fact of maybe just a comm from a teammate or do you want to just check connector just in case. MIBR taking their own tactical, and we've seen 2 rounds in a row now where Kalinka's come up absolutely massive. 9 kills and 5 deaths, leading the kills or tying the kills on the server with KNG. He's been very impressive with both the rifle and that secondary AWP. And they're not going to have enough money to bring that secondary AWP into round number 9, Jay. But you've got to think for MIBR, maybe a bit of a change-up. They've been very slow. They've been very methodical on the T side. We haven't seen any kind of fast execution, whether it's over towards B or whether it's over towards A. And HELLRAISERS, they're starting to get a little bit antsy on that CT side. We saw the pressure towards Brown Halls, both with the rifle and JR in towards that heaven position. They looked like they wanted to try and take some fights as soon as they could.
That's the name of the game, it seems, so far here in this matchup. In round 9, HELLRAISERS. Another fight on their hands, another reinvestment from MIBR, but this will be their last full-blown buy before they have to start thinking about half-buys and ecos. The savings have been brought into CRK. Awkward angle to check on against Problem, and Problem will win out the fight. Opening up the round with the CT cam. Wrapping around towards the other side of the bomb site as well, but couldn't get KNG. He'll get him down and Fallen. He'll try back on Lion, decimating the entire B site defensive. Wraparounds are coming through relatively slowly, and Kalinka's going to walk right into Farah E-box. 4-on-2 once again for the T side. I think HELLRAISERS are best to save.
And that just looks so simple again from MIBR. TRK runs out from heaven. They lose that opening fight. And from there, they just go for the B-site XE. They leave Fur out towards E-box. And Fur's been doing such a great job of lurking. Even the fact he hasn't been too successful in terms of finding impactful kills, he's done a really great job of slowing down those rotations. Because pretty much every single round now, Jay, when a B-site execution comes through, the players on HELLRAISERS slow down rotating in from A because they're expecting Fur to be there. And that's just wasting time.
Taco against JR. Seeing his man takes him down immediately. That's an AWP dropped as well for rifles to fall away from the favor of HELLRAISERS and destroys the economy even more so, considering they weren't even on max loss bonus. Probably going to be an eco around this M4 here. I don't see a force buy coming through from HELLRAISERS based on the way that MIBR have handled themselves. I don't think it would yield any fruit. I think they agree with me. Upgrade pistols, a Zeus for Lion. And the M4, the only thing being saved from the last round, therefore the only rifle they will have on the CT Force.
HELLRAISERS dealing with a little bit of aggression this time around. We haven't seen this coming out from Fur. Very quick to get into the hell position. This is a very fast A set piece.
Straight out of the gate, KNG, first frag, TRK spotting Flourish back at the hell entrance. There's one player still at E-box. Lion adjusted against Fallen to take him down. So in the end, not much is going to be allowed by this lurk in the smoke. 1-on-5 for Problem. Fallen's watching the pop dog area as well. So nothing left for him in this round. The P250 should get mopped up. And we should be seeing 8 to the board of MIBR. We'll just check the corners here now. Look around. Easy shot. Easy kill. 6 rounds to the deficit. HELLRAISERS need to find a response once again, and they will get the rifles back out for this one. I don't think they could afford the double up setup if they wanted to go glass cannon. And yeah, Kalinka will buy the big green gun. A risky play, if you ask me.
It is certainly a pretty risky decision, but I think for HELLRAISERS, they've realized the fact of when they've run the double ups, at least that one gun round that they were able to win the first gun round, it looked very promising from Kalinka towards that A bomb site. So look, they're going to go for it. It is a little bit of a risky decision, but at the same time, Jay, when you're down 2 to 8, these are the decisions you've got to make.
Fast outside again, TRK straightening as the AWP, dealing with Kalinka immediately. Glass cannon taken out of the fold. Lion hearing footsteps here, 2 players towards this Olof position, so he now knows that there's a lot of T-side presence out here. Lion comes up with 1 and turns around against Taco. Reads his position with the blind fire coming back. KNG responds, TRK still lurking in sandwich, gets Flourish down as well, and A-site is under control of MIBR.
Is anyone looking towards T-Com? Because JR's coming out from Pop Dog, and if he takes a pick, he'll start to draw attention away from his teammate. A problem. TRK is incredibly low, 12 points of health. Hellraisers are really starting to slow this down. Smoking off T-Con, that's going to give the T's absolutely no idea the problem's going to be here.
Molotov's coming in. Scopes up, JR making a lot of noise. Fallen will take him down, and now TRK has an inkling of what's going on here. Problem just looking for the exit frags. He can't get the retake together. There's no kit. He will catch the low HP player in the back. Take him down. Don't think he can recover the AK. Happy with the damage being done though towards the MIBR side, and they're gonna have to be given the circumstances. Catching KNG as well. There's still so much money for MIBR, building up that economy so quickly here for the T side, so the buyback will come through confident. And Hellraisers need a round response rather than an economical response.
And I'll tell you what, even though they don't win that retake, Jay, I like the fact that they're being really creative on this Hellraiser side. They're trying something different. The fact that they smoke off T-Con, for the most part, kind of gives you the idea, okay, there's certainly no one there, and he's actually trying to block off a T-line vision, and then problems behind that smoke. MIBR, though, just coming out of the gates in this best of 1, just looking so damn comfortable. Again, the rush out towards T-Con, and Taco is completely blind, Jay, and he still wins out that fight against Liam.
Frag's easy in that respect. 19 points of health for him, though, so a trade could be easy for these scouts coming in of the CT force back. M4's also ready to receive them as they make their way out towards the brown holes once again. Bomb is there with 3 individuals. Smoke comes down from Problem, is going to land a little bit too late. We'll siphon off the rotations in the back line, but they'll see what's going on. KNG does fall, though. Problem finding a kill to a 4-on-4, and they make their way around towards the marshmallow area. For being seen, Problem still wins out that fight. Fallen trades it, taps up. JR gets a headshot back towards him, and now a 3-on-2, making it 2-on-2. TRK still fragging out towards the oil train. Smoke to the gap, gets out JR next, and now all that remains is Kalinka with his own scout to get some headshots in against the 2 players that remain. Easy kill on Taco, he's low HP, not so much against TRK, he's up for a 3K. Molotovs and nades will drive him away, they'll get the plant in.
Kalinka's got to make a decision. Does he wrap old bomb in towards CT or just continue fighting out from Con? They'll know exactly where he is as soon as they put that molly down. Kalinka with the scout 1-on-2, trying to see if he could do anything, Jay, but doesn't have a kit. Does have a smoke for the bomb, but you've got to think that he's pretty much out of this round unless somehow he can find a response back.
Need that kill on Taco more than anything else, and it's just not going to get offered to him. So passively, TRK eventually swings, gets his triple in. They 10th to the board of the T side line. As the deficit extends to 8 rounds, the difference. Hellraiser's money is most definitely in the toilet here. Where do you go from this? How do you play out of this position? A half buy for round 13, looking for a rifle in 14. I don't think they'll be able to do much. If they lose the next one here, they desperately need to get a good round here against MIBR.
Yeah, they really do. They need to be able to find a response, and Lime is getting very aggressive on the SL ladder. You've got 2 players looking at this position, though, Taco and Fallens. You've got to think as soon as Lime goes up, it is not going to be good.
Sees that info, but so do the T-side players. Drive him away with the shots and nades up. Damage not being done. Driving division between the front lines of both teams. Eventually, Lime's going to rotate back to the B bomb site. Kalinka's going to start a solo hold the old hell position over A, and this could actually work here. MIBR are leaning into the brown holes execute.
Yeah, look, to be fair, though, MIBR on the T side have not really ran into many stacks so far. Now, first going to get the information that the A-bomb site's pretty clear. Yeah, there's that 1 player out towards a hell position. Problem starts to guess out from Rap. Oh, and he gets a couple of kills, Jay!
How's he been allowed that? SMG coming up, T-Eagle spotted to the back line, doing some damage to Fur, but Fur doing more to Kalinka, and CT's wrap around. Eventually Kalinka does get caught off guard. Bomb plant can be secured, and KNG adjusting against the SMG. Rifles and plenty can get picked up. JR gonna get read upon. KNG does get dinked in his exchange though. 3 versus 3. Chance available, CZ bursts up, Taco goes down. And now Fur and KNG in serious health disadvantages. Does get a headshot on problem though. The SMG not allowed to get another kill back. Flashbangs go over towards the site. Low HP of Lion peeks in, gets dealt with by KNG, and Flarich is left alone. Continuing to go for the hunt. Fur gets that frag, and MIBR do recover off a really unlucky start there. Although how the SMG pushed in and got that much impact, that's a question I'm left to still answer.
Yeah, well, it looked as if that they'd already started to rotate out of Pop Dog, so there was only 2 players in the brown halls. But yeah, look, the fact that Problem is able to just get the best timing in the world, starting to aggress. Fallen's got a nade out, and his teammate, I think it was TRK, who was looking towards that heaven position. MIBR, though, even with a really nice play from Problem, are still able to convert their 11th. And I tell you what, this T side is looking pretty rock solid for the Brazilians. The HELLRAISERS. I'm kind of surprised, Jay, that we're not seeing more tactical pauses, but at the same point, when you're down 2-11 against MIBR, what is a tactical pause even going to offer you?
Either you need to come up with the most amazing motivation speech in the world, or the most on-the-fly advanced tactic. So I don't personally think that, you know, as you mentioned, is going to do much for them at this moment. Upset in from Fallen, JR, Kalinka. Taps up. Being where Taco is, and actually JR does get that frag for it. It barely escapes the facing from Fallen. KNG finding Kalinka, meanwhile on the outer bomb site. Orb shots not connecting, but they will ring out. Problem will try wrap around against Fallen here. Flarich, meanwhile, will start going down as the entryways towards the Ivy presence do overwhelm the A-side defensive. Problem is still dropping in against Fallen, takes that fight, wins it out. Swings up towards the top of blue, seeing where Fur is, getting that kill back once again. 2-on-2 situation. Bomb plant is going to be received here by the T-side.
And TLK is incredibly low. Flashbang coming out for Pop Dog to try and clear out the bomb site. JR's now going to chime into the action, and it's all down to KNG. 1-on-2 position. Playing a bit of an off angle out towards Old Bomb, but JR's going to be able to win out the fight. And HELLRAISERS bring back that round. A 3rd on the board for the CT side. And that kind of came out of nowhere. And you've got to think for MIBR, they were sort of just taking some duels towards Pop Dog for Problem, which weren't really necessary, Jay.
Now allowing the double ops up to get saved in for the CT camp and everything. Going into round 15, the bye will still be a bit harsh for the HR camp. But at least it's a 3rd, potentially a 4th to recover their half against MIBR. Domination has come through from the T-side line for the moment, though, so the fact that they're going this far already is not an encouraging sign towards the HELLRAISERS camp. Setting across the entire CT defensive. It's actually a DC issue coming in from the HR camp. No damage was done, so they can call for a stop pause.
Yeah,
they're stopping this round. They're going to rerun it.
Yeah, okay. A good thing there wasn't any like early HE damage, because I know like pretty often the T's can sometimes like triple nade or double nade like the mid bomb for the CT side really early in the round. So it is a bit fortunate for the HELLRAISERS side that no damage was done, so they're able to get their 5th player back in the server of Kalinka, I believe, is dropped out.
Yep.
And that would have made it a little bit awkward to get that 4th round, wouldn't it, Jay?
On this occasion, they will ensure that they get all 5 players in on this defensive. I mean, HELLRAISERS are going to need all 5 players with the way that MIBR are playing. You know, that scoreline does not lie. 11-3. And the best case scenario for them is 11-4 going out of the half. So ideally, they'd like to take their 4th and the 15th right here. Double ops will still be in play. Interestingly enough, MIBR have got a double ops set up here on the rebuy. Fallen and KNG rocking the big green guns. I imagine that's probably because one of them has a good spawn for an entry pick. Maybe KNG towards T-Con area. For now, they just take pause to get Kalinka back in the server and get HELLRAISERS back with a 5-on-5 to start the round.
And you've got to think as well, Jay, like looking at the style of play that HELLRAISERS have played so far today, I don't think they've played poorly at all. I think they've just been simply outclassed. And you can kind of understand why that would be the case when you're facing off against a tier 1 team where for HELLRAISERS, you know, these guys have only come together, what, 4 months ago was like the new signing of the HELLRAISERS side with the addition of Flourish, who was in some of the previous editions. But you've got obviously Problem and Lime, who obviously haven't really played at too much of a high level. I think they were on SG Pro and Warthox between them, so not a lot of experience there. And you can just see on the City side, yeah, they've had some nice plays. We've had Kalinka with the 3K. We've had, well, 2 clutches from Kalinka to get 2 rounds. But outside of those 2 big moments from Kalinka, it's just been MIBR just bottling them every single round, and it's just looking too easy for the Brazilians.
Yeah, and that causes a bunch of issues, obviously, for HELLRAISERS, you know, just having that level of confidence against the line. And you could see very early on in the game, like now it's lesser so, but very early on you could see how very passive and scared they were playing against MIBR. Like, the mental game has definitely got to them. The MIBR exploiting that in whole. Like, they can just play their own style, they can play their own aggression, and they can just rush site if they want to, and just probably take control of the whole round off the back of it, because HELLRAISERS were playing so passively. Maybe not in this round, but the thing about on the CT side is the main issue for HELLRAISERS. Like, if this was unconfidence on T side, sure, that can be recoverable. Yeah. But being this far down on CT does not encourage me going into the second half.
Oh no, 100% doesn't. Yeah, no, you've got to think for HELLRAISERS that this is the chance in a matchup like this where you're pretty much going to know that you're not going to win. Like, that's hands down. You know that that's going to be a realistic factor. That why don't we try something that we've tried in the scrims? You know, something that we haven't tried before in official, because this is a perfect opportunity playing a very strong team where MIBR just hardly ever play in sort of like these tier 2 events. So it's an opportunity for HELLRAISERS, especially going into the second half. Try something a little bit unique. Try something that maybe they've done in practice but haven't done in an official before, because you've got to realize at this standpoint, being 3-11 down, there's no chance for comebacks. It's just not going to happen. So at least this way, you know, try and play your best Counter-Strike, see where you can get. Even if you get 6-7 rounds, however it may be, I'm still going to say that JR's probably going to be pleased with that result. He's still going to be talking to his teammates saying, right, yeah, we probably had one of the toughest best of ones we've all played since joining this team. Let's just take this as a bit of a learning curve. You know, I'm sure they're going to learn a lot looking back at this demo and trying to figure out some mistakes, some holes in their defense. Because there's still another chance, Jay. It's not just a single elimination for the best of ones. Obviously, if you lose this, you go down into the lower bracket, where you need to win 2 best of 3s to make it into the playoffs. So there's still got another chance. But again, we said it in the pregame, like this is the group of death. You've just got so many good teams in this group that even for HELLRAISERS, a consistent playoff performer, it's going to be a really tough time for them today.
Just to give you an update on, you know, what's going on right now with Kalinka, he's currently got an authentication error. Don't know if you've ever had these authentication problems.
Yeah.
Basically, it's when files, certain files become corrupt and therefore they don't match with the server files. Like, if you ever try to use like a local skin changer, for example, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
That's essentially what it's done right there. So it's authenticated him, kicked him out, and said re-authenticate your files. And basically, he's got to go through the whole process on Steam, which takes an age, and eventually, you know, just get just get set up into the server. So. You know how it goes. Like, this is one of those tech pauses. It's like there's no easy solution. Well, it's an easy solution, but it just takes forever. You know, like, so once that gets sorted, I mean, it's not going to be like we're going to be here trying to, like, you know, try 8 different solutions to try and get it fixed. Like, you know, once it gets done, it should just get done.
Yeah.
But obviously, for now, we're just going to have to wait for a little bit. Let things simmer here, and they'll certainly be simmering for HELLRAISERS. I mean, you talk about the lack of a comeback and how impossible it really is, but the other day we did see a 12-3 comeback, so, you know.
Yeah, but this is already on the CT side. Like, we saw a big comeback, but that was obviously when you're on CT. Like, there's just no chance on T. Like, it's just not going to happen. So, there is, if it was swapped, if it was still the same scoreline, but HELLRAISERS was on T, I would give it a slight more of a thought, but I'm giving it 0% thought now.
Fair play in that respect. I mean, I'm not hitting my bets on that one. Absolutely not.
You're gonna go a little bit higher than 0%?
Nah.
So we're both on 0 here. Like
maybe 1%. Okay.
1%. Okay, it's quite low. Yeah.
I want. Here's the thing: it's a best of one. Anything's possible, and that's always going to be my motto when it comes to weighing up these kind of matches. So,
Righto.
whichever one goes on, you know, whichever way it sort of goes. I mean, realistically, this should just be a simple sort of like, you know, 12-3 and then a 16-3 for MIBR.
It seems like every time you call OT at some stage it happens, so I'm hoping like that you're not going to say that.
I'm not calling it.
You've got some sort of curse.
I'm not calling it now. No chance.
No chance.
But to be fair, though, I have the other curse in the sense that every time I bring up that little factoid about OT, it always ends. So it's okay if we go to OT because I have the power in my hands. It's the ultimate caster's curse. Fine. Don't worry about it.
Now, with integrating the game files, are you re-downloading them? Like, do you know how that works? Because obviously I've done it a few times, but I can't quite remember.
So I can't remember how it works, but like you verify game files, and then it sort of goes through all of them to make sure none of them are corrupt, none of them are like, you know, changed compared to. I think it works with like a database, where it just sort of like compares it on Steam's local thing. So it just takes a look at all the files, and it ignores stuff like, you know, auto execs and, you know, other sort of like files, like demo files and stuff you would add to the game, and just goes to the base core of things. So stuff like, you know, as I mentioned, skin files and you know, like sound effect files and all the things textures, that you can't adjust, textures and all these things. Yeah. So yeah, you know, so basically it goes through all those files, make sure all of them are absolutely, you know, like integral, and none of them are corrupt, none of them have been changed. And essentially, if any of them have been sort of damaged or otherwise, then you just, you know, just work at it and then just re-download the files. Yeah, okay. Replace them. And unfortunately, it's one of those cases that's like, you know, the download does not take forever. It's the verification process that does, because if you know, usually you might have maybe 1 or 2 files that are corrupt. In that case, it just downloads those files. It's just all of them, like. Oh God, imagine that. Really bugging the PC there. At that point, I don't think the game would function. Like, it just doesn't feel like it would be a possibility. You know, is it like the old like Gary's model, what have you, where it's like the errors everywhere? You know, like with the pink. Mate, that game was so broken. You got achievements for having enough errors. Like, I think I may have got I can't remember which one it was, but it was something like 1,000 different you know, script errors, and then if you got that, you got an achievement, and I have that achievement on Gary's mod because it's been a while since I played that. Brings back some memories. Yeah. Bit of TCT, bit of Death Run. Wait, those were the days. Wait, Death Run is one of my favorite modes. Like, it's awesome. Yeah, I was never into Sandbox. Sandbox to me was like, kind of bored here. Like, I just like the. There's not enough substance. There's not enough substance in it, you know? Just get bored after like 10 minutes. I'm trying to find what the achievement was called. Oh, bad coder. Yeah, experience 500 Lua programming errors. So there you go. Yeah. Bit of insight. I mean, that would be great if we got those kind of you know, rewards in Counter-Strike, just like, you know, die 1,000 times. Just think how soul crushing that would be. Getting achievements like that. I would make a joke here, but I'm not going to do that. So right, we'll just mention it and then not mention it. No, it's like, I had a joke in my head and I was like, should I say this? Or probably not. I don't think I should. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Right. Well, he's back, Jay. Kalinka is back. Okay. Hopefully for good this time. I think the money also is pretty okay. Seeing the AWPs in. Okay, the second AWP is on the floor right there, so it can get picked up by Kalinka, in fact. And everybody else should be able to rebuy here for the CT camp. Obviously, they're going to be on a force buy because of the nature of the 15th round. MIBR did have a double AWP set up earlier between KNG and Fallen. I believe Fallen, without a weapon currently, should be able to pick up the other AWP. I think he's probably been dropped in the T-spawn. Yes, round 15 here between MIBR and HELLRAISERS, up for 12-3 or 11-4 in their respective best case scenarios. Go to the defensive. Kalinka with his first AWP set towards connector. JR going out towards the Ivy presence. Got players that will be coming in from Ivy. Molotovs will try force them back as MIBR look for the first pick. Kalinka's going to be able to find the open onto KNG.
very aggressive up for the CT side, trying to get around this T-Cob position. And for HELLRAISERS, they've got to maintain this man advantage, Jay. This is a great 5-on-4 for them to work with. First been able to pick up that orb, and now Flourish is going to chime into the action.
A kill on Taco. 2 down. MIBR caught off guard by the aggression that HELLRAISERS are bringing to the table. TRK back behind the server racks. AK set and ready to round this corner. Potentially taking even further fight down range here. Minute 2 the clock into the apartments. Smokes down, passive control. MIBR being very careful about this default here.
They're trying to take Pop Dog control, and the Lime is just playing anti-flash. Flash in, Flourish is there. Actually playing 2 players. If Pop Dog Fur goes down, and well, this round's pretty much all finished now for MIBR. Looking to try and find a response, but they still haven't found a kill on this T side yet, Jay. Oh my goodness!
Well, Fallen will do in the end. Straight through Pop, taking that scope shot through the smoke. And now 4 left standing for HELLRAISERS, but 30 seconds left. The bomb's been so siphoned off. TRK is so far away from Fallen. Now they're splitting towards the A site if they want to recover this, and the orb is now going to respond to by an AK. There comes the kill, alongside Kalinka finishing off the job against TRK. 11-4, HELLRAISERS do recover their end of the half. But even so, MIBR still dominant here at the turn of the T side. And on the T side as well, they did such a good job.
Yeah, look, I was really impressed by MIBR's sake. They had a bit of a change-up. They had a little bit more aggression out towards the outer bomb site a little bit later in the half. It was very slow. It was very methodical. They did a really great job of baiting out utility on that CT side. It just looked very simple for the Brazilians. And you've got to think that now going into this CT half, it will be a little bit more of an easier affair. For HELLRAISERS, you've got to think they lose pistol here. They're pretty much all done. They need to find a response, and it's got to be going into round 16.
Well, utility for Fallen and JR on their respective sides. No defuse kit for MIBR. Fallen taking first contact as well for the opening kill. Seeing the first player out, Kalinka taking a bit of damage, nades up against his line. The smoke comes back from the CT camp to ensure that this one will not be taken. They will not be able to storm down the IV control just yet, but they do hold passive back up to the top T-spawn area.
Now, getting this player of problem into Pop Dog could be a little bit interesting. Especially if MIBR start to get over-aggressive and try and clear out that position. Fur and K&G looking to try and take some immediate fights to the T-Con players.
Minute to the clock. Problem in Pop Dog with the Glock. No split going to come through? I think I don't know if they're in the halls or in the T-Con area. I think it's actually in the halls now, in the apartments. Taco setting up towards the brown halls, tapped up with the USP, seeing players coming out, taking a dink back down, now calling in for backup. Flashbangs go over, he makes his way down the ladder, he's going to hear those footsteps. Fallen, sat back here with his teammates, facing up, 3 players making their way up. It's JR and Kalinka and Lion that clean up the kills. Still got Taco back here, dealt with by Flourish quickly, as the rest of the CTs fall. HELLRAISERS will get an all-important pistol round.
Oh, that looked very, very easy from HELLRAISERS. We saw MIBR swinging out as a unit. 3 players on that CT side all trying to take fights in connector, and pretty much none of them found anything. Just instant trades coming out from the HELLRAISERS camp. A buyback, of course, of the force from MIBR. Look at the amount of rifles, too. Rather than just going for the SMGs and going for the MAC-10s, they've instead, Jay, gone for 3 AKs and a glue. And I believe that JR is just on a pistol. Yeah, he's just on a Tech 9.
I don't know if he was dropping weapons to get the AKs out early or what, but it'll work for now. No damage done to Liam here for the MIBR side. They've done no kills just as of right now. K&G moving up towards the B site. Taco in the back with the scouts set. The MIBR. HELLRAISERS in the brown halls. They have put a lot of presence here, a lot of utility out, but no commitment just yet from the T side.
Starting to slow it down. Maybe see if they can bait out any kind of rotations. Now, MIBR are doing a really good job, Jay, of holding on to this utility. They've still got 3 smokes to work with, so as soon as a bit of a utility comes through or a little bit of contact's made, they can just drop the smokes and try and buy some more time to allow the rotations to come in to stack up a bomb site.
Right now, 2 players defending the A site entryways from the T-Con and Ivy positions. Falling with the Deagle, shoulder betting, looking towards that gap, trying to check out the dumpster area. Got Kalinka setting ready. Smoke down as utility pours out. Bird's going to get quite close here, take out one. Flowich will deal with him. Fallen's going to be seen out here. Boost up from one of the players. Top of ticket boot for KNG now. Fallen gets Kalinka down, but now gets traded back by Flowich. 20 seconds, the bomb pot. If it's denied from here, then it could still spell disaster for HELLRAISERS. Problem will fall next, but Taco is going down in trade. 10 seconds to get the bomb pot. He's going to make his way up from Flowich, who's at the old hell position. And KNG making his way up to the site, sees where JR's at. Will try to deny it from here. Flowich is a dead man, and that's round over. KNG just got to stay alive, and that's exactly what he'll do. Be seen by JR, but doesn't get the frag for it. That was a disaster push from HELLRAISERS, spending too long trying to get the bomb to position.
Thing is, they didn't bait out the util. All we saw there from MIBR, they put down a T-Con smoke. Fallen's able to put one down towards Ivy, and it means for HELLRAISERS, they need to push forward into those smokes and take some really awkward engagements. The rotations came out from B really nicely, and KNG realizing the fact, okay, I've seen a player towards E-box, I know the bomb's getting planted. This is my opportunity just to try and deny the bomb. HELLRAISERS, not the follow-up round that they were expecting, and now they're going to have to be on an own force by themselves. They didn't even get a bomb plant, so they won't get that extra cash injection.
A heavy buyback going to come through from HELLRAISERS, obviously. Nades up against Lion. Damage done to the T's initially just by basic utility. Set spray through from KNG, does not stop them entering out of the B site. They still got Taco there with his own SMG upper. No one's watching this position. JR will get dealt with, and a little clean house here with the SMGs and the M4. Fur getting Kalinka. All left is Flowich at the old Marshmallow area. Taco, 2 kills to his name. Nice, easy cleanup for MIBR. 13 to the CT board.
And that's a really strong round there. HELLRAISERS just going for a B site. Exy could not deal with Taco in towards that heaven position, or at least couldn't deal with him. They didn't know he was there for the most part. Just Glock it out, I suppose, and get the 2400 in that next round. They will be giving a 14th up for the MIBR side. Can they do some damage, Jay? They've just got Glocks. Oh my goodness!
And now they've got death. Damage being done. 2 players down, JR and Kalinka. Facing up here to get decimated by the rest of the rifles. SMG set for Taco as well to get even more money in the bank for MIBR. Getting ready for them to exit. Here they come. Flowich actually do want that one player back here. AK spray goes awkwardly, but eventually they can't deny the bomb plant. Yes, they can. Flick back there. 3 kills for the AK. And plenty of money gained by Taco as well. Reinvestment coming through. Fallen can upgrade his scout if he so desires. AWP comes up for Taco instead, and actually they'll double up set up instead for the MIBR camp. But 14-2-5 is still going to be that bottom line. And HELLRAISERS, I believe they are up for a buy-up here. Indeed, they are. They need to make this go well if they want to survive in the best of 1.
Yeah, this is their probably last chance, Jay. And they're up against double orbs too. Fallen and Taco going for the AWP rather than KNG. And TLK very aggressive, but so is Lion. The opening pick being found to the CT side, and no response. There is no further aggression for the T side.
Yeah, first kill, shutting them down. They relied a lot on that map presence, and now JR will fall next. Taco getting picks back on problem. Pulls the Brown Halls area 5-on-2 with no damage done to the CT cam, and MIBR. The confidence has now been gone the favor of the CT cam once again. There's just no way back from this one here.
Yeah, not really too many opportunities being given up to the HELLRAISERS side to be successful. Even Kalinka tanking a little bit of damage. Now, he would have been spotted out with that bomb from TRK. Flowich, seeing if he can just back up his teammate the most that he can, but not even a single point of damage been done to the CT side yet, Jay.
More kills coming in from Fallen. Finally goes Fallen to trade a Flowich. The last player left and Fallen. Of course he does. 15-5 match point for MIBR. And a very hard force back from HELLRAISERS. They want to try and make the next round work. I don't think they can do it, Hedwig.
No, I'm with you there, Jay. It is just a far gone conclusion at this point. It was a bit of a shame to see them win pistol and then lose that anti-eco, because it really didn't give them a lot of a chance to start to build up some rounds, build up a bit of economy, build up some self-confidence, because it was just an instant response. Fast aggression coming out towards Brown Halls. This could be quick into the B bomb site.
Flashes over, Taco backing up. In towards the back of the track.
Oh!
He still gets the flick back towards the likes of JR. Flourish overwhelms, takes the AWP back down, 4-on-4 situation. Bomb plant can be received here. Look at that sick from the Hellraisers camp. This is their last chance to defend themselves, their last chance of survival on this retake.
Very quick, very fast coming out for the Hellraisers camp, and they even need to get their lurker of Fur involved into the action on this retake. Hellraisers just not peeking. They're being so silent and just trying to hide for the most part.
Kills coming back and forth, 3-on-2 situation. Kalinka back to here against Fur. Fur will win out that fight. Fallen can't find his way in with the AWP, but time is ticked a little bit too far. Shots not found. Liam takes out Fallen. And Fur will look to stay alive here. They do lose 4 players on this T-side buy-up, so damage has been done, but it's a recovery round for Hellraisers, one that will try and keep them in the game.
Just a straight rush. They weren't even silent about it at all. We saw Taco straight away try to fall back and call in for the rotations. No one was really quick to try and rotate in from Con. It meant that he was isolated on the site. The Hellraisers are going to be able to find a response back, Jay. And look, you know, the economy is not fantastic, but they're facing up against map points. I think that's going to be the last thought on their mind.
Orps out, seeing one over at the all opposition. JR taking damage as Liam opens up the frags here against Fur. Now trying to enter out of the T-con area. Flashbangs will continue to come through from the CT side. There's going to be a problem on Taco that takes him down towards Brown Halls, 5-on-3. He did a ton of damage, but just couldn't finish off the kill. Now TRK is hunting for another pick of Pop Dog, but the T's are not offering up their positions to him. He's out in the open.
Oh my goodness, this is a fantastic round coming out from Hellraisers. Some great duels being won, and now it all comes down to the secondary orbs. You've got KNG and Fallen, and this B bomb site's opened up. I wonder if Hellraisers are going to get a read on this. They are. They're starting to bring that bomb over to B.
Smokes down to try and cover them off. The entryway established very early on here. I don't think that the MIBR want to go for a retake here. KNG and Fallen the best to save the double AWP setup. This will end up being a 7th for the Hellraisers side. Indeed, the big green guns will get safe back at Ivy. Crossfire can get set. We did lose Taco in that round there. After he went down, he had a bit of a disconnection problem. So obviously after the damage was done, after he went down. So the round is official. The MIBR probably going to take a technical pause to try and figure out where they go from here, how they will get Taco back in the server. Not only that, but also a little bit of a think about things, you know. How are they going to break the Hellraisers side now the momentum is back in their favor?
Hey, you just got to think, play with a lot of confidence, play with a lot of freedom. Hopefully we'll be able to get Taco back involved, Jay. As MIBR, I suppose for them, right? Like, they want to try and get this over and done with as quickly as possible. Hellraisers just holding on at the moment. Now, one thing to kind of keep an eye out for, but a little bit of an interesting element is how close that some of these kills have been for Hellraisers in terms of sort of the distribution of kills. There hasn't really been a star player. It's been very consistent, very average across the board, which you can look at as a bit of a positive for an in-game leader to sort of say, okay, you know, we've all held contention. We've all been able to find impact. And for MIBR, they've got double orbs, but they're not going to force into this. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to force into it, obviously. So they're just going to upgrade a little bit here and there. But in the most part, Jay, they're going to be looking to try and get that buy round into round 24.
Yeah, EK set, the AWP set in. Keep these weapons in play, obviously, for the next round. Fast play out from Hellraisers. We'll try to take a respond to that. Lime's completely evaded the player out in the open, back behind E-Box. 2 kills coming through, and look at TRK so close towards Flourish. Flourish steals the frag anyway, and Taco is left alone. 1-on-5. overwhelming even the AWPs of the CT camp. JR is going to get Taco next. And that will close out the round for HELLRAISERS to get 8 on the T-side board. Rifles coming back from the MIBR. Can't afford the double AWP setup. Fallen can afford the single AWP here. I think that might be what they define the buy around here.
It looks like that's what they're going to go for. I'm a little bit surprised that MIBR didn't eco again, Jay, because you look at the fact that they're buying into round 24. They've got an AWP, they've got 3 M4s, but they've got an MP9 on Tefer. They don't have any kits. They've got very light utility. So a bit of a risky buy, I kind of want to say, for the Brazilians, rather than just ecoing and getting a very strong buy out into the next.
Nades up, JR taking damage. Look at Lion making his way out. Sees player top of blue. And JR instead gets that frag with the information called out towards him. AWP kicks things off. KNG, however, does find a kill out towards the aggressive Ivy face. Kalinka down, fall on top of green. Next, going to get faced in by Lion. Gets out towards Sandwich, caught off by TRK at the back of the bomb train here. Peeking up, seeing his man, taking even more damage, getting information out. Smokes down. Lion is basically cornered, though. He's got very little breathing room. He faces towards one side, he takes a fight. Faces towards the other, he goes down. He loses the fight against KNG as he tries to retreat back out. 3-on-3 situation, favor to nobody. Slight HP advantage now for MIBR. But Problem takes out Taka. The B side's open, and the player advantage tips back to the favor of the T side.
Oh, Problem so aggressive too to try and siphon off those rotators immediately. And he's going to hear these footsteps. Molly coming out towards Con doesn't really give a lot of options for MIBR. And he's already in the back lines. KNG checking the angle. Oh, he brings it back into a 2-on-2.
All right, then. Retake on for MIBR. I would have called a save in most other circumstances, but the fact that they got that kill before the bomb went down could be an opportunity here. But Flaric ready for the backstab of KNG. He's found 3 picks so far. Could be on for 4. Base up. JR takes out TRK. Now KNG is all that remains. Making his way up from upper, and no one's checking this angle, actually. Nice out. Seeing his man, takes the fight, wins it out on the bomb train. He almost gets JR. But even if he does get that kill, there's no kit, no ace, and no defuse for the man. Therefore, no round for MIBR, a 9 for the HELLRAISERS board. All 5 go up in smoke for HELLRAISERS. The buy will come back for them, but obviously the economy is going to be a little bit damaged as a result.
MIBR, okay, and that was what I was a little bit surprised about, is the fact that they forced into that last round, is that they haven't got the strongest buy in the world. And it's starting to come back and bite them. HELLRAISERS now putting up a pretty good streak around. This is, what, 4 in a row for them. They're starting to find a little bit of confidence. And looking to even get to double digits, which was a big surprise after getting a 4-11 deficit going into that second half. We're starting to bring it back. These HEs, again, have done a lot of damage in the past for the T side. Nothing this time around.
Molotov's in it to force KNG back out. They have done the majority of the damage here to the T-side camp. Kalinka on 48. Smoke down. Molotov's up. B-side under siege. Taco's going to be the first point of contention. Deagle up against one man. Lion will take the trade back. Scout set here for Fallen as Fergo's falling. KNG still finds a pick, though, with his M4. Scout shot connects. Does not get the kill, but KNG can finish the job. Flaric turns it around. 2-on-2. And the CT's done quite the amount of damage, but Flaric gets himself 2 frags. Now the plant can be secured. TRK alone with a P250 and a dream. I don't think he can win this round. He might get some damage in, but the retake will be so difficult here.
It's getting to a point now where even if they're just taking like 3-4 players every single round out of the HELLRAISERS camp, it's not affecting the economy at all, because they'll realize like they're up against map points. So as soon as they lose a round, the game's over. Hang on, this is now a 1-on-1 because someone disconnected.
What? No way. Imagine TRK wins this, just for a moment, imagine that. How upsetting that would be to HELLRAISERS, how distraught they would probably be off the back of it. Obviously, they can't rerun the rounds. On plant will be heard. TRK got the P250 out. Will he find Flaric? Behind over to the open green position. Takes his face, takes his fight, taps up, sees the man, does the damage, he gets it as well. Oh, that is heartbreaking for HELLRAISERS. Absolutely heartbreaking. Oh, man. That could not have gone worse for them.
Oh, he's not gonna. He's gonna give him the round. Yeah, he's gonna give him the round. That's actually a really nice play.
Wow.
So there was. I could hear ticks in the chat. So that's actually just a really nice, good sportsmanship play there from MIBR, realizing the fact that, you know what, TRK with a P250 probably wasn't gonna win a 1-on-2 there. And look, they didn't have to do that at all. But that's like a feels good moment right there, Jay.
You know what? Hats off to them. Credit where it's due. Like,
yeah.
That is an ultimate form of respect, I think. We play on here at 15-10. Obviously, they will get HELLRAISERS back in with their 5 players in the server. Obviously, we have to take a moment to resolve the tech issue. So I'm not sure what specifically happened there, whether it what caused the disconnection, but hopefully it's nothing that takes too long, and we'll be able to just recover the situation and get ourselves back in with a round here. But yeah, bit of a heart-stopping moment there for the HELLRAISERS side. I mean, I guess I kind of got a little bit lucky in that respect.
Yeah, look, you've got to expect, like, of course he's just going to defuse it, but look, that's something I haven't seen before. But look, for HELLRAISERS, they were in a position where that round probably should have been theirs. You know, you've got a 2-on-1 advantage, TRK's on B, and you're going through Pop Dog to A, and yeah, like, it is what it is, unfortunately. But for HELLRAISERS, they'll obviously try and continue this streak. They've got to double digits. The round... Oh, okay, Jay. So I'm guessing that both teams have come to like a bit of a compromise. So the round is going to be replayed all together. Okay, Jay? So we're not going to be giving 10 rounds up to HELLRAISERS. It's going to go back to 15-9.
Okay. All right.
I think that's fair play.
Well, it is what it is at the end of the day. 15-10 will not be official on the scoreline. We run it back, obviously, with that eco stance being in for the MIBR camp.
That's good sports from both sides, actually, because I think for a round to be completely replayed, both teams need to be in agreement. So HELLRAISERS could have said, no, we've got 10 rounds. Like, we just want to keep playing. So it's nice to sort of see that there's a bit of sportsmanship coming out from both sides, which is really what you should have, like a bit of a mutual respect, I think, in a situation like that. So, you know, hats off to both the HELLRAISERS and the MIBR guys. And round being replayed, I think, is the fairest outcome, Jay.
Yeah, I guess in the spirit of the rule sense, like, yeah, that does make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, again, as you mentioned, neither team had any sort of obligation to sort of, like, you know, rerun the round or otherwise to, you know, just to let it go in the case of MIBR. You know, it's all, you know, it's all a case of just, you know, good sportsmanship all around, as you mentioned. So, like, yeah, it is a bit of a weird situation, but, you know, again, credit where it's due at this stage. Holding up for the HELLRAISERS camp, trying to get their man back in. And once they do, we can get right back into the real 25th round.
And of course, you know, the two other guys, or the two other teams, Forza and Gambit Youngsters, are going to be playing after this best of 1, Jay, rather than having sort of a main stream and a B stream today. So I'm sure they're ready to go. Probably watching the stream as well, sort of seeing who they're going to be facing or who they can expect to be facing. And I'm a little bit surprised of how HELLRAISERS has been able to bring this back to at least a competitive scoreline. Like, if they went down 16-3, you'd think it would have really hurt them emotionally, sort of going forward. But the fact that they've got to 9 rounds already, yeah, look, it's still going to be really difficult to take it to OT. But the fact that they've got to this position, I think it's been a really, really good recovery to come out from HELLRAISERS.
Yeah, considering the consistent tech issues that we've seen on the HELLRAISERS side, Kalinka obviously having his own sort of problems. I'm being told as well that the admins have approved him joining with a different account due to the consistent sort of, you know, authentication errors he's been having, because that's exactly what disconnected him from that last round, which I had a suspicion it may have ended up being, but obviously I'm not sure, because usually it's a case that when you get the, you know, when you sort of like, you know, verify all game cache files, then it should just sort of work from there. I mean, it's very rare circumstances where it doesn't.
Yeah, okay.
So allowing it to use his Smurf for all intents and purposes, and allowing a new sort of you know, a new account to be played here for the likes of them. It does mean that the money is going to be completely shattered for Hellraisers though, so they might have to see some dropped weapons coming through. And I'm not sure how the economy looked prior to that. I believe they still had about enough to probably drop a weapon. Okay. But obviously, you can see what that's going to do there. Xenia Shula is Kalinka, so...
I was just going to say, you don't have a go trying to say that name. Did a pretty good job there. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Did all right. Can you put
I've definitely tried to pronounce some other worse names here, you know?
Can you put a bit of a Lithuanian tongue, like a bit of a accent on that one too?
Absolutely not.
Got to get Sedani in here.
Well, I'll have to match medic this one. Just quickly run it back to the 15-9 scoreline. And then once that happens, we can get going, and indeed we will. Oh, okay, actually.
It's Kalinka.
Okay, so they're gonna. So credit to the guy running the overlay, because he set us up to actually see Kalinka's name as opposed to the actual account name. And as well as that, they've also given him the money that he had before. So no major money issues, of course, for the Hellraisers camp. So
lovely.
Orbs in, AK's out, of course. Fall by back in with the utility set. MIBR have the scout in for Fallen. KNG with a rifle this time to work with.
And TRK is probably just going to go for that P250 again and saying, oh, you know what? It worked out pretty nicely last round. Or last time we played it. Let's do it again. I think the buy is looking pretty similar. Scout out for Fallen. The M4 that was saved in from KNG. Don't think there's too much difference on that CD side. Hellraisers, though, looking to see if they can get to the double digits. And hopefully looking for not another disconnect, Jay.
In theory, we should be fine. If not, well, I don't know what else to say at that point. Orbs in, AK's out. And again, the only rifles being in play for KNG and Fallen on that CT side. Flashes come over and the T's go quickly into the brown halls. Look at Taco aggressing far forward of his own right. Scout shots and nades come back from the CTs on the A side defense. And the P250 faces up. Fallen goes down first. Firth can't find his frag, but TRK with that P250 gets a kill in before going down to the hands of Lion. One player in the backlines, KNG and 1 HP. Fur goes down, bomb has been dropped. Deagle still facing up a connector. Taco doesn't get away with anything in KNG on 1 HP. Nade to the backlines will deal with him. 4K for Lion and 10 to the board of Hellraisers, as rightfully so.
Okay, much better rounds coming out for the Hellraiser side. 3 players staying alive, so a little bit more confidence being found. A double AWP straight away coming out for the MIBR camp. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, but I don't think we've seen a tactical pause coming out from MIBR in this best of one. We have seen a couple from the Hellraisers camp. And you've got to think for the Brazilians, you know, if they maybe give another round or two up to the Hellraisers side, maybe we might just see a bit of a tactical pause to come through, just to kind of take a bit of a moment to take a bit of a breather.
Smoke up. Utility sets a standard. AWP have fallen. Watching, waiting, taking out JR for one. Fur and TRK don't go down very quickly to the hands of Lion, though. The aggressive CT forces ends up to the favor of the Hellraisers camp. Good kills found. 2 for 1. But no entryways to the site just yet, and they are giving up some opportunities for trades to come through.
No, they're going to try and just brute force their way into the ramp position. Taco with the AWP. Can he follow up? Not quite the secondary pick, but into a 3-on-3. That's a lot of information gained on this CT side.
AWP shots trying to connect. 2 of them in play towards the cross. Big miss from Taco. Allows the bump to cross down, get planted in. And now 3v3 retake up for MIBR. M4 for KNG faces in, gets Kalinka down. Fallen still looking for a K back in, and KNG doubles up in his own right. It's all left to Flourish. One frag found, turns around for the double. Here for the 1v3, clutch baiting in the shot of the shoulder bait. And dropping off the side, seeing where Fallen is at, facing it against him. Again, baiting and a miss from the AWP. Sees him top of white, spray goes wrong. And Fallen will finally close it for MIBR to take 16-10 above Hellraisers, moving on to the winners match off the back of our best of one.
I tell you what, that's a huge clutch coming out from Fallen, and KNG does so much work in the backline. What a performance from